Who else has tried FabFitFun? We know Melissa has. If you don't already know about it, it's a seasonal box with full-size beauty, fitness, and lifestyle products. It retails for $49.99, but always has a value over $200. Guys, you know, I've talked about it before. This season, this box for the spring, we have this beautiful floral robe from my friend's company, Show Me Your Moo. So you know that it's my favorite. I mean, it has to be my favorite. I'd be a really bad friend, but genuinely, it made me so excited. And I love when I can see other people wearing it too. So check out FabFitFun.com and use the code BLAME10 so you can save $10 off your first box, making it only $39.99. Again, that's FabFitFun.com and use the code BLAME10. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the podcast. This is Don't Blame Me if you are new here. And guess who's not new here? Arden Rose.
Me, I'm not new. Don't blame me either.
Not new. But this is the first video episode that you've been on.
I mean, there was a little,
this is
because it was audio just before, but there was a little video
she didn't know we were
in
recording.
it. You didn't realize there was a camera there?
No. I saw that, but then it just didn't like click. I thought this is your first
like,
video podcast.
No.
I was like,
No, not ever.
I was like, oh my God, I am the worst first person.
No. This is your first time being on the video version of the podcast. Guys, well, if you're new here, this is an advice podcast. You guys call in, you leave us voicemails, and we're going to give you advice. And if you want to call in for an upcoming episode, the phone number is 310-694-0976. And if you're an international listener, you can email us an audio file at meghanpodcast@gmail.com.
Whoa.
And we're about to give some pretty decent advice.
Ooh.
Decent advice. We're setting standards low right
Not
now.
decent.
No, just
but
dece.
half of
Dece.
decent
Dece.
is dece.
Was that a slang in anyone else's high school?
No.
Dece?
Yeah.
Like dece.
Okay, California.
I was going to say, you're, California.
Just broy as fuck.
We're Arkansas gals here.
Oh my God, shut up. We're evenly divided
Is that right,
today.
Yeah, we are.
No way. I forgot about that.
our accents are just going to come out in full force until you just
Is
can't.
an
don't have
Arkansas
one.
accent.
I don't have an
You
accent
have a
either.
little twang.
What?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, well, apparently you have a real
No,
one.
I said a little twang.
Yeah, no. I know. It's, you know what it is? It's when I talk to my mom. That's the only time
Does your
I
mom
get
have
really,
an accent?
Yeah. Well, she'll just be like, "Hi, darling, how you doing?"
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah, and then I'm like, "Oh, mom, I'm doing great." How
You
are
just get to
doing?"
that register.
Exactly.
That's just where it hits.
Yeah, I don't know how you talk to your mom, but I have to go like 3 octaves up.
It's,
Yeah.
it's babysitting voice. You're like, hello, Mr. and Mrs. Smith. Yes, I am free to babysit Becky and Chase later. Thank you so much. And it just
What
gets
a
higher and
reference!
higher.
I haven't.
Oh, my friends and I all call it
baby.
babysitter's voice. My friend Sydney has the most, like, it's the most obvious. You can tell when she answers the phone who it is. We're like, babysitter voice.
Aw,
And
that's
we're
cute.
like, who's that call? And like, now we're like, we're 25. Who is she talking to in a babysitter voice?
Okay, so your babysitter voice is mine talking to my mom voice.
Yeah, or talking to your like agent voice. Like, hello. Yeah,
Oh, like unbelievably pleasant. Life is great.
Very
Very
okay.
nice.
Is it time to give advice?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's give advice.
Do it.
I'm bugging down for some
I'm giving advice.
Hey, my name is Ken. I am 24. And my question is, there is this somewhat big drag competition on YouTube. Not Dragula, it's called Camp on Kiki, that I am been thinking about auditioning for. Because it just fits my aesthetic for it. And with that, I'm scared, too. For the simple fact, I've never been to a club to perform. I've mostly just been in my own house because of where I live and my means of transportation. I don't have a way to get to the clubs to perform. So I'm very scared because most of my drag experience is doing online competitions to try to better myself, because that was the only way I was able to better myself and do what I actually really like to do without having to go to a club. Or just doing it in my room and then just posting it on my Instagram so that way people can see what I do and then the trolls can come to me. I wanted a way to learn and get better in a constructive way. And I'm really scared because, you know, some of the people that I'd be probably also auditioning have been in clubs, you know, way, you know, obviously way longer than I have. And I'm just really scared. Like, I feel like I keep on, all my friends I talk to about doing this, they're all like, I'm crazy, I'm stupid, I need to shut up, I'm good, I can get on. But there's still that little bit of me inside that's like, you're not that good, they're not going to let you on. Because when I'm doing these competitions, I'm normally very close to being the first out or I'm always low until I do only get out. So I'm just not sure if it's my own inner saboteur that is trying to get me to not do this, or if it's really just me that's not good enough yet, and I need to continue to wait just like maybe another season or two of it to stay around for that. We have like an outside question for it because I'm not sure if you'll be able to help me much really with this, but I just need an outside source of my inner friend group because they're amazing, supportive, beautiful people, and I just need like the real harsh of reality right now to see if be like, okay, do I? Yeah. Thank you guys so much for listening to this.
I need to find the Instagram. I want the
I know.
Instagram.
Now
I want
I
to see
know.
so bad, but I feel like I don't even need to see this answer. Like,
No, neither do I.
do it.
Yeah,
Like-
do it. If it scares you, you're doing the right thing.
Yeah.
Like you shouldn't feel like you have it in the bag ever, because like no one feels like that.
Yeah.
No one feels like
and
that.
not to turn it into like heterosexual, not that to assume anything, but like not turn it into like an acting thing,
Yeah.
but like the amount of auditions I've gone in for of things that I'm like, oh, I'm shit. I'm not ready for this at all. But
Yeah.
like you still go. Like the experience that you get from doing something that has a consequence is so, I think like you're making the stakes higher for yourself.
Yeah, prove something to yourself.
Yeah, totally does. And I think like that's the best experience that you can have. And I think like your friends and all that stuff, when as much as like, and this is what I say, like to people like who call in wanting advice, I'm like, well, I can't ask my friend said this. If you have good friends, like your friends aren't going to let you make an ass of yourself.
No, yeah,
like
exactly.
if you weren't good, like you're like also like there would be a part of you that wouldn't be still doing this.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like there has to be like there's something that keeps you going, and like you can't. Yeah, that a love for something like that, like you can't like learn that. That's something that you can always get better at something. But like if you have a passion and a drive for something, like that's going to like show through. And like drag's about like having like when you watch someone doing drag who's having so much fucking fun,
That's the best drag.
that is the absolute best drag ever.
You could look like literally trash on stage, and if you're having a good ass time, no one gives a shit.
Yeah, like
Everyone's just vibing for you.
it's you can perform a song that I don't even know, and suddenly I'm like, oh, I want to download this song.
Yep.
This is amazing. Like I love this. Like you're not, you know what I mean? Like that aspect of it. So yeah, I mean, I think you just need to 100% go for it, and it definitely is your inner saboteur.
Yes.
it is, and that everyone has that like critical voice in their head. And also I think sometimes we don't want to set our standards too high, or not standards, our expectations, because we don't like getting disappointed, which I think it's fine. And so I think in order, like if for you to feel like this is like small fish, big pond kind of thing, don't think about it like a competition. Like think about it like this is like
Your learning experience.
this is just learning experience. Like don't put the pressure on yourself to make this like, oh, like the first time I went to like a big audition in LA that wasn't like a small one, I didn't book it. I'm not Supergirl.
No.
I'm not Supergirl.
Yeah. I'm not on Sabrina.
I'm literally not Supergirl. So like there's that. Like, but at the same time, like I go in for that casting director all the time.
Yep.
Like it's something that you, like the first thing is never going to be the best. And I actually got some really good advice from one of my friends when I was doing my movie and I was so stressed about it. And he was like, if this is the best thing you ever do, like that would suck. And I was like, what do you mean? He's like, well, right now, like if you've been like, you're working up to this point, like you're in your 20s. And if this thing that you do is the best thing ever, like you're never going to like, that sucks. And I was like, oh my God, you're right. He's like, yeah. So you don't want it to be like perfect and great, because then where do you go from there?
Yeah.
So I think if you take it as like this is going to be fun, it's going to be a learning experience, and then I think you're also like you're going to have like a really great time doing it, and you'll be great.
Absolutely. And like also from a community perspective, I mean, you've only done stuff online, right? So meeting other drag queens in person, or drag kings, whichever one, like that's amazing. Like you get to actually build a community around yourself and feel confident in like other people, and learn about other people who are doing the same thing as you in your vicinity. And that can be really empowering as well, because there are probably a lot of people exactly like you trying to do the exact same thing as you. And you've never met any of them because you've only done online competitions. I mean, maybe you've met them in person before, but like, I think that's a really cool thing to be able to gather together and meet. I mean, once again, not to bring it into an auditioning thing.
No, exactly.
But like I've met some really good friends just sitting waiting for really nerve-wracking auditions that aren't typically the best places to meet friends. But like it happens because you're doing something that's in common with someone else. And I think that's really powerful as well. So yeah, embrace it for a lot of different reasons, not just because like you want to win something, but because you can win a bunch of other things without winning the actual competition.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
And I think also like if you're going to be, you're saying like your fear of like, oh, there's all these other people doing drag who've done clubs and stuff. You're going to be able to meet all these people and like think about this is like the in between of then you can do the club circuit. Like this is like a great introduction way for you to do that. Like it's, everyone is nervous before they're doing their first thing, but I don't think that nervousness is you not being good. I think it is. I think it's a self-sabotage thing because nobody wants to be like that cocky asshole who's like, oh, I'm great. And then you're like, oh, wow, no, everything fell apart.
Yeah. No.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it'll be great. And please DM me on Instagram because I want to see.
I want to see that. I want to see that Instagram.
I want to see that shit.
Yeah. Me too.
Oh my God, I love. Okay. Let us know how it goes too.
Absolutely. Yeah. Updates.
Yeah, please. On to the next one.
I am 20 years old and my current boyfriend is 23 and we have been dating for just a few months, so we're pretty new. But my roommate and best friend, she grew up with him. So she went to high school with him and went to the same church. They basically were friends for most of their lives. And growing up, she always said that he was a very nice boy, very church-going boy, but he was very obsessive with his girlfriends. And then she's like, oh, he probably changed in college. And it's been years. But I am starting to notice these tendencies. And I don't like it at all. Like, it freaks me out to no end. But I was wondering if I'm wrong for putting the blame on her and saying, oh, well, I'm only noticing this because she noticed or because she told me about it, or am I focusing too much on his past and I'm not seeing for who he is now, and he just like really likes me. I'm really confused, and I really like him, but I also don't see a future with him. But it's only been dating for like a couple months.
Did she just answer it for herself?
Yeah.
She did.
I think she just broke up with him over this.
Yeah.
Like
She
I think
sends him this.
That's how she does it.
So
Don't blame me.
I'm sending a voice memo to the podcast and to you. Just by the way.
I don't want to name names, but Tony, if you're listening. You fucking know. You know what your answer is, don't you?
And the thing is, it's like if you didn't think this was true, like there's a reason why like she said that and you're like, oh wow, you're right.
Yeah.
Like if you didn't see any of those things, she would have said that and you would have been like, oh no, I don't see
get that
at all.
Mm-mm.
Like people are very quick to defend people that they care about.
Yeah.
And the fact that like immediately when she said that, it's not like, oh, you're thinking this because she said it. Like it clicked. And we literally just had a whole conversation about this prior to recording the podcast. It was like sometimes like there are things that like you might have taken it as like, oh wow, this was really sweet and romantic. But there's a 3% in your head that was like, that's a little weird. But I'm not going to say anything because like, whatever, like this is fine. Like my roommate and best friend knows him from high school. Like anything, like no one's saying anything that's making me think that this 3% of my brain should be the 97%. And she says that, and that's kind of where that clicks.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's, and you already don't even see a future with him at all.
You just answered all of it. Like everything you said, and just the fact that like, I don't know. It's funny that you're still doing like the like a microscopic version of like, well, but it's just my friend. Like I'm gonna stay with my boyfriend that I trust more. And it's like, no, you
don't trust him.
You don't. And yeah, I don't know. If you're seeing it like 3 months in, that is the time that you either break up with someone or you stay with them for like 15 years.
Oh, 100%.
So like that's like
Oh yeah.
That's when like the walls start coming down and you see people without like the honeymoon glow. So I feel like a lot of people are like, oh, it happens in a year. I'm like, no, bitch. Oh no, I find out in the first 3 days.
Yeah, legitimately. 3 months is actually Mats is the only guy I've dated aside from my high school boyfriend. More than 3 months because every third third
That's
month,
what
I would wake up and I'd roll over and be like, I hate you. And I never want to see you again.
I'm changing my keys.
I sneak out. Like that's literally what, so this is, you don't owe him anything. And like, at all. And also like your friend has nothing to like gain about this. And in the sense that she said, well, maybe he's changed and different and all that stuff. She was giving him an opportunity to not be like that. And you saw the other stuff. Yeah. Like that's what you saw. And even say that he has changed. He's not as possessive or obsessive with his girlfriends or anything like that. You're already feeling whatever you're feeling. You're already feeling some of it.
And you have it in the back of your head. So that's going to
it's only going to get worse.
Every time he tries to say anything, it's going to bug you.
There's a difference between someone liking you and feeling a little obsessive. Like there's a total difference. One gives you a warm, fuzzy feeling and the other one makes you think your like stomach is falling out your ass. Like that's literally.
That might be the Accutane.
Yeah, true. But that's literally what the difference is. So like there's no point. And also someone who's as like obsessive and all that stuff, it doesn't become, it's not about, not to take this the wrong way, it's not about you. That's how they are.
Yeah.
So then you're with a guy who, no offense, probably doesn't even like you as much as he's saying he does, because
it's
this
just
is
his
what
personality
he does.
trait. Yeah,
like,
he already just has that.
He's the too much gene in that
yeah,
sense.
he's got
which
the too much
I've got
gene.
the too much gene, but not in the romantic side.
What's that from? What's the too much gene from?
Well, Jenna Marbles says it.
Oh,
so
yes.
proud of me. I also have the too much gene.
I love the too much gene.
Yeah.
Will's got the too much gene.
This guy sounds like he's got the too much gene.
Yeah.
too.
But like not like the too much creepy type gene.
No,
If he's
sequel
being
because
possessive.
yeah. No, that's just, it's not. Yeah, that's just how. Yeah, it's not in a good place, and I think it's good that you recognized it now.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Much rather do it now than like find out after you guys have like moved in together or something. Just trust your gut.
Yeah,
and it seems like you are, and you'd already know.
Yeah,
you already know.
You got this. Date other people. Way more fun.
Yeah, super fun. Go for it.
Chase the ones.
Yeah.
Those ones are always way more fun. On to the next.
I'm 23 years old, and I'm going through something that I think that you can relate to a lot. So when I was 12, I started going to therapy, and I've been seeing the same therapist up until last year. So that was about 12, 11 years. I truly believe that I wouldn't be standing here and be in my positive mental state that I'm in right now without her. And this past August, she told me that she had cancer and she had to leave. So right before she left in June, we discovered a big trauma with me that connected all the dots and everything in my life and made so much sense to me. And I was so happy that it was with her that I discovered this and that we were going to work through and we were going to write a trauma narrative and all this stuff. And now that she left. So now I'm seeing a new therapist, and it's not easy because it's like starting all over again. And I know you go to therapy, so I want to know if you ever dealt with this before and how do you deal with it? And, you know, I just feel like sometimes this new therapist doesn't understand me, and I don't know like how to, you know, be like, why are you not understanding, without like screaming about it. But it's very frustrating and it's very difficult because I have so much history with my old one, and she knew every single thing about my life. I can mention a person, she knows exactly who I'm talking about. And this one doesn't, and it's very frustrating. And now I dread going to therapy instead of being excited to go to therapy like I was in the past. So, yeah, I don't know how long to give it. I don't know if I should request a new one. I don't really know how it works because I've been with the same one for 11 years since I started. But if you have any advice, thoughts, if you went through this, please help me.
Oh, I feel so bad. This sucks.
Can I ask you something about that? Okay, because whenever I've gone to a therapist, I've gone to someone new every time. It wasn't like not every time, but like I have maybe had the longest relationship that I've had with a therapist is like a year.
Yeah,
and it's just because like I go through a hard
Stints
period.
Yeah, no,
and
totally.
I don't have someone who's like been with me forever.
Yeah.
How common is that?
I mean, it's really common. So I was going to say, I'm also like, as much as I wish I was the person to ask for this, like I'm not. Like, so the therapy that I'm in now, Mott's and I are in like couples therapy, which I've said before. Thanks. Everyone should do it. It makes it so you don't kill your significant other.
Love it.
But yeah, so we're in couples therapy now. And now from being in this therapy, like, and our therapist being like, I really think you should see an individual therapist as well. And me being like, I know. And so she's helping me find a new therapist.
Okay.
Which that like, for me, like I haven't done that stressful process yet of being like, I'm terrified to go to another because like our therapist like she knows like it's about our relationship, but like so much of what happens in people's relationships
is individual as well.
Yeah. And like goes back to that. So she knows all of like our individual stuff as well. So like even for me, like going to a therapist, I've been like, oh God, like I'm so nervous for this. So that's why I asked her for a recommendation, because I had one terrible, like the first time I ever went to therapy, had a terrible experience.
How long ago was
on
that?
The podcast last time? Did I say it, or did we talk about it in real life?
We know you talked about it on the podcast.
Yeah. But wait, basically like it was, that was when I first moved out to LA.
Okay.
Yeah. Not the first. No, when I was like 21.
Okay.
Yeah. Like 21. No, maybe 22. Yeah. 21, 22.
Was that the last time, sorry, this is personal, but like, is that the last time that you
it was
went to an individual one?
Yeah. So that was the last
Oh,
time I
okay.
went. So it was a psychiatrist and therapist combo. So that was before, because I have ADHD. So I go to a psychiatrist in general. And I was like, I always want a psychiatrist therapist combo. But like, it's also like, that's not really like what your psychiatrist is for. Do you know what I mean? Because I'm not on medication for anything except ADHD.
Right.
Because I'm not against it at all.
Yeah.
Like I've thought about it. It just hasn't been like
a necessity right now.
What I've wanted at a current time. Also because like I wanted to try therapy first. And so then the first person I went to, he basically had told me, and even it was on Katie Morton's episode that we talked about this, because she's a therapist. And so I was saying, I can literally figure out, he basically told me that that I was like manic and he didn't believe anything that I was saying because I was like alarmingly well adjusted. And if everything I had said was true, I wouldn't have been doing this. And I literally was like, I'm an only child. I can therapize myself and be like, this is what you do. I'm deflecting. Like, I'm not that's what happens. And like Katie was like,
he shouldn't be accredited.
No,
if he
not
has
at all.
those
And even
beliefs.
Katie was saying, she's like, no, immediately I would have been like, oh, she's an only child. Like, that's what she had to do. Like, she built up this, like, I'm desensitized to this kind of thing. And so, so I didn't go back. And so I was really nervous. And so now when trying to find an individual therapist, like I am going through my current therapist, our current therapist, who I really like, because I really like her style, like everything about it. And I basically told her, I was like, I don't know what your kind of therapy is called, but I like it. Like,
I like you.
And I was like, can it be someone like you? I know it like can't be you, but like I'd really I want it to be a woman, and I was doing all of that with her. So I don't know if there is like anyone
that could like refer.
Yeah, but someone you could talk to that could refer, because I would also say like I think there is like a awkward learning curve with a therapist.
Yeah.
But there's also, you just don't always mesh with people. Like even like my psychiatrist / therapist went through a couple of those before I found one. And now literally like 5 of my friends all go to the same one.
That's how it works.
Yeah. And then
you find
all
one and then it's like,
really like her.
Oh yeah.
And so I think like if you've got other friends who are in therapy or anything like that, I think that's great. And then also, I don't know what you're going like doctor wise, like I don't know if you're seeking them out on your own or if you're with like a Kaiser or something like that, like Kaiser, like, and you're getting a signed one or whatever,
like dependent on your healthcare.
Exactly.
Okay.
Like I don't know if you're finding them or you're basically having to pick from like an in-house kind of a thing.
Right.
So I think like asking friends and everything like that, and to do that, and then if there are like whoever got you, if your parents were the ones who helped you get into therapy the first time, how they found your original therapist, and maybe find out like what's the kind of therapy that she specifically did, like what did she specialize in, and then what did you really like about her, like did you like that she's a woman, did you like how old that she like even if they're like little trivial things, like did she look like someone who like you felt like you could talk to?
Yeah, that's a very good point. Yeah. Boil down what you liked about your last therapist and then try to find someone who's really similar. Yeah. I think also the problem is that from what I heard in the voicemail, you mainly but issued a problem with the fact that your new therapist doesn't know a lot about you. Yeah. And I'm worried that you're going to find that with any therapist. Yeah. That there is that learning curve that like I went to the same therapist for like 3 or 4 times. And even though she was amazing, and by the second time, I feel like she knew what was up, like she would still like get my sister's name wrong and like not exactly know what was going on. But you have to give some leeway. I know this is probably a traumatic time though, because you don't feel like you have someone that you can talk to about anything and like they just get it. But I think you also have to like give people a chance. And whether that's like you legitimately do not like this person and you have that gut feeling of like, this isn't going to go well. So like that's another reason why you don't like them. In that case, move on, take a different approach. But if it's literally just, this person doesn't know that much about me, you're going to keep running into that problem. Yeah,
because you said it took 12 years for you guys to get to the point where you had a break.
That's a lot of years.
That's a lot of years.
And you guys discovered stuff together. That was like the other thing. And I think like, excuse me, I'm burping. I think if you haven't like, with this therapist, and I think you're exactly right. Like that's, no matter what one you're going to go to, you're going to have to do the explaining, which is the suckiest fucking part. It's the absolute suckiest part. It's even sucky when I switch psychiatrists, where I'm like, I have to go through all of this and I have to explain ADHD. I have to explain like all of these things that I'm like, I've been doing this for so fucking long. Like, can we just like get like, I wish
I had a file I could just like, here, do your research over the weekend, then I'll see you Monday. Like,
but I mean, they should have, your therapist should have a file on you.
I was going to say, can't you just transfer files? Would that be possible?
No, 100% will have a file on you. And then I think like the best thing that you can do and is telling that your new therapist about this, of being like, I'm going to be honest with you. Like, I'm feeling really defeated and like, I feel really shitty. This is like a really traumatic loss for you in general. Like this is like losing someone that was so important to you.
It's losing trust.
It is. And then saying like, and I'm having a hard time with this kind of a thing. And just saying that is going to, they're going to be able to be like, no, I totally understand.
Yeah.
Like, this is fine. Like, they're really going to be like, I'm going to catch myself up on this. Like, I know that you don't want to go through this whole process again. They know that that's the painful shit. Like rehashing all of that stuff because you're not getting anywhere and you feel like you're kind of like just playing catch up. So I think like give this person like a real chance. And then, if there is something that's just not sitting right, know that you're going to have to do the hand holding and the explaining and like the backtracking with every therapist. But if there is like, you were so lucky that you got a good fit the first time, but that doesn't always happen.
Yeah.
So now knowing that like this could be the right fit, it just takes a little bit more time. Yeah. And I would say, our therapist, she had said like 6 months, give it 6 months. And like, even she's with us, like give it 6 months. And if you guys feel like at any point during that or after that you feel like, oh, this isn't really like working out, because also your therapist learns how you communicate and like they're a fucking chameleon. Like,
oh yeah,
they understand.
Love a good therapist.
Yeah. And when they start to understand like what you need from them and all of that stuff and like what you respond well to, they're going to be able to cater that to you. So even if the first time it feels a little clunky and awkward, or the first couple times, like they're going to start to learn you better.
Yeah, absolutely. I like what you said too about kind of like, you have to be upfront with doctors in general. That's like one thing I learned in the last year, because I've always had a huge, I know that you
lying about everything,
right? Lying.
Like, no,
lying
I'm fine,
through
I'm fine.
my fucking teeth about everything. I could be like gushing blood and being like, I'm good. I'm good.
I think I dislocated my toe. Have not gone to the doctor.
Not a big deal. Oh yeah.
No, I have to show you guys later. I don't know if I dislocated my toe or not. I can't tell.
Well, listen, I'd love to take a look
for a while.
I know.
Oh God.
I know.
Okay.
Well, either way, I know that you have a fear of doctors.
So much.
I've got a big time fear. So I recently conquered my fear by getting blood drawn, which
good job.
Right? I feel pretty good about it.
You used to go every month now.
Yeah. No, I only have to go one more time.
Oh.
They changed the rules.
Oh, fuck that.
I only have to go one more time.
That's amazing.
But anyways, but it was great because I like, I've always been really scared of doctors. I've always been really scared of like just the entire, like being in a doctor's office freaks me out. And my brother-in-law is an anesthesiologist. And so I was just talking to him about it because he was like, you got to get over this. Like you need to get vaccinated. like you are old enough to like go and get your shots, your boosters done, which thank God I'm doing that. So that's fine. But he was like, you just got to go be like a good person in society. And I was like, yeah, but I just feel like I have no power. Like, I feel like I walk in and I'm just an animal. Like, that's what scares me so badly. And he was like, that's because you do not stand up for yourself in any doctor's office or in any like medical professional's office. And he was like, doctors don't want to hurt you. Doctors don't want to do anything to you. Like, no one wants to hurt you or make you feel bad or anything. You just have to tell them when you've reached your limit. Yeah. And that's what I've learned more than anything. And I think that's the same thing with therapists. I think that's psychiatrists. I think that's everyone. You have to be so upfront about your feelings. Like, and I know when it comes to therapy, that is a very specific dynamic that you don't want to like mess with or fuck with. But being really honest and gritty with your therapist is what they are looking for so they can help you. Yeah. So like, I do agree. If you are having a problem with it, just say it to the therapist.
Yeah. Or if there's something that she's doing and saying or something that really doesn't sit right with you that she might think that is comforting to you or something like that, you can say that. Like, there's literally like, our therapist has been like, I want you to come in here and tell me, like, if you don't want to be here, like, tell me if you don't want to be here, and then we can talk about why you don't want to be here, and also you can leave. Like, you can leave. You don't have to. Yeah, it's like, you don't have to stay if you don't want to stay. Like, if you're having like, she's like, we can sit in here and talk, we can sit in here and not talk, but like, just tell me. She's like, I can't help at all if you tell me what to do or what like not to do, and that kind of thing.
Exactly.
And, like, they're not going to take it personally at all.
They're doing a job. And they see a lot of other people just than you. Like, so it's not like they are not going to take it personally. They're not going to lose sleep over it at night. Yeah. Like, you can be I don't want to say brutal, but you can be very honest with your therapist.
And if you're a fan of My Favorite Murder, Georgia, her therapist recently passed away. And so she had a whole, they did like a portion of the episode talking about it. And so she's going through finding a whole new thing. So as much as I wish I could be like, oh my God, I totally understand.
Yeah.
Hopefully this advice works, but also listen to My Favorite Murder because she's currently going through that part too.
Poor girl. I hate that.
Oh my God. I would be so sad. Okay, guys, we're going to take a quick break and we'll be back. Anyone who's had a migraine knows that they're the absolute worst. Now it's a little easier to treat your migraine from the comfort of your own home, thanks to Cove. Cove breaks down everything you need to know about migraines and migraine treatment. Start with a simple consultation by a physician that's licensed to practice medicine in your state. Then, once they determine which prescription is best for you, Cove sends it directly to your door and reaches out in a few weeks after to see how you're feeling. All migraine medication prescribed by the doctors at Cove is FDA approved. If you suffer from migraines, the last thing you need is to have to wait to see your doctor. With Cove, there's finally a way to get the help you need when you need it. And when you use my special link, you'll get your first month free of treatment. Go to withcove.com/blame. That's withcove.com/blame. withcove.com/blame. If there's something interfering with your happiness or preventing you from achieving your goals, BetterHelp Online Counseling can help. BetterHelp offers licensed professional counselors who are specialized in issues such as depression, anxiety, relationships, trauma, anger, family conflicts, LGBT matters, grief, self-esteem, and more. Connect with your professional counselor in a safe and private online environment and get help at your own time and at your own pace. Anything you share is confidential, and it is so convenient. You can schedule secure video or phone sessions, as well as chat and text with your therapist. If for some reason you are not happy with your counselor, though, you can request a new one at any time for no additional charge. Best of all, it is a truly affordable option. Don't blame me with Meghan Rienks listeners. Get 10% off your first month with the discount code BLAME. So why not get started today? Go to betterhelp.com/blame. Then simply fill out a questionnaire to help them assess your needs and get matched with an online counselor you'll love. That's betterhelp.com/blame. Own iconic luxury items at unreal values with the RealReal, the leading reseller of authenticated luxury from top designers. Shop from designers like Louis Vuitton, Gucci, Rolex, Cartier, and hundreds more at up to 90% off retail. New arrivals come in daily, and every single item is authenticated by the RealReal's team of experts. In fact, the RealReal employs over 100 brand authenticators, gemologists, horologists, and art curators from around the globe who inspect thousands of items each day to ensure that every item is 100% authentic. Shop and consign women and men's luxury fashion, as well as fine jewelry, watches, art, and home. Shop online, visit one of their stores in Soho or West Hollywood, or visit one of their luxury consignment offices in Chicago, Dallas, Miami, San Francisco, and Washington, D.C. New customers receive an automatic $25 off at checkout. I have been perusing. I usually am a big fan of perusing the handbag section. Sometimes I'll venture into sunglasses and things like that. But I recently, just Googling a dress from Reformation that's been discontinued. I found it on the RealReal.
What?
And I was like, hey-o. I was so excited. And also, I'm going to just say it. Every time I am looking for something and I find it, it's 20% off there. Yeah. I was like, oh, wow, this is and it's one of those things that you see it and you're like, wow, the price is so cheap. Oh, wait, this is even cheaper. And I am obsessed. I love Reformation. I think their stuff is so cute. And especially when it comes to clothes, I've said this before with handbags and stuff, but especially clothes when it's in sizes, sometimes something that I'll love from a designer will sell out immediately in my size and then they're not restocking it. But I think something that's great about getting gently worn clothes, you can even get what's new with tags, all of that stuff. I'm a huge, huge, huge fan. So if you see me sporting a brand new Reformation dress, that's because I was feeling ready to make the plunge.
Cutie.
Hell yeah. Shop in-store, online, or download the app and get 20% off select items with the promo code REAL. That's the RealReal.com, promo code REAL for 20% off select items. Okay, guys, we are back from our break, and we're going to hop on to the rest of the calls.
I'm 25 years old and living in the Midwest. I moved back with my parents after finishing grad school about a year ago. I spent my first 5 months or so at home being single and finishing 2 internships. My last internship really aggravated my anxiety and depression, causing me to lose weight and a lot of my self-worth. I got back on meds and started seeing a therapist again, then started my first job.
felt like I was in a good place and ready to date again, and tried Bumble for a while without a lot of luck, probably because I'm living with my parents. I met my best friend's boyfriend's roommate while dating a Bumble guy and felt really connected to him. And did things with the Bumble guy and started seeing the roommate. Things were great, but early on he talked with me about how dedicated he is to his work and how he had a hard time reconciling that with relationships in the past. Basically said that he self-sabotages because he's so focused on work and wants to end things before they can go wrong. Talked it out, and I assured him that I was also focused on my career and was happy with the amount of time that I spent with him. We agreed to be open and honest with each other about what we needed, and everything was great again. Over the holidays, we got an Airbnb in our city and had an awesome night out, just the two of us. Everything felt as good as it could possibly be, and I was really happy. But last week, he ended things kind of abruptly after about 3 months of being together, basically on the premise that he felt it would eventually go wrong and saying he didn't feel he could commit to me in a way that I deserved. We had a good conversation about it, and I'm trying really hard to take the things he told me at face value, but I can't help but feel like in some way it's my fault. Can't stop telling myself that if I were enough, this wouldn't have happened. Been cheated on in the past, and I've always been the person that gets broken up with. So I feel like I'm the common denominator here. So much of my focus with my therapist was on rebuilding my relationship with myself, and I feel like I'm back at square one. What can I do to feel like enough? And what advice do you have for me when it comes to seeing him in the future? Since we met through mutual friends. Thank you so much. Your podcast gets me through my week since my job kind of sucks now too.
Poor girl.
Yeah. I hate this dude.
I know. I hate this dude. Oh, I hate this dude.
I wish you had called in like right before he broke up with you, and I would have been like, break up with him right now.
Do it first.
Because like that's why he said that. Like that workaholic thing, all that stuff. Like I'm
that
dating
was
a
setting
Capricorn.
up a bomb.
Like I'm dating a Capricorn. I know what it's like to date a workaholic. Like I get that. But like, yeah, he's setting up he's giving himself an out. Like he's setting that up.
Yeah.
So
and he's done that before.
Yeah. And so
you can tell
that wasn't you. He told you from the very beginning
that he was going to do that.
That he was going to do this. Mm-hmm. And that was before you had been dating for 3 months. It has nothing to do with you. Mm-hmm. That's what he was always going to do.
Yep.
And I definitely struggle with this in college, especially with like, dating this guy. It was also like 3 months. I was also, and I like, not to like say like part of this is my fault, but like I was also like kind of a little bit of a shit, and like he very much was
everyone in college is a shit.
Yeah, totally. And there was like
the best.
There was like
you playing golf,
I don't doubt
tennis.
that. I don't doubt it at all. There was like a month of our relationship where he was like, let's be exclusive, like let's be boyfriend girlfriend, and I was like, no, like let's like I don't want to put a label on it, and I'm like saying that because I'm like I don't want to get too invested,
right?
And then then after that he stopped asking, and I was like, oh, okay. And then I brought it up again. He's like, no, I think you're right. This is fine or whatever. Like I think we're good. Like
the player got played.
Yeah, exactly. But like we were still exclusive. But like we just weren't like there. We like wasn't like labels and like that kind of stuff.
You get to play that cute little game.
Exactly. And I was like, fucking shit. What did I do?
Yeah.
And then he was like, but we were still exclusive. Like all of that stuff. And then he broke up with me, and it was like. The whole thing was like, oh yeah, like he only dates girls for this short amount of time, like all of this stuff. And I was like, God, I fucked up. He wanted to be like, he wanted this. And then I was like, no. And like this whole thing that I put this blame on myself.
Right.
And then the next girl he dated for like a year and a half. And I was like, why? That was me. That was my issue. And I was like, no, it has nothing to do with you. And that's the thing we say in like on so many episodes of being like, it's not about like two people. It's not about the perfect timing of two people. Nope. It's literally about the person, about you individually.
Yep.
It's like if you are ready to have a relationship, it doesn't matter how fucking great or how terrible somebody is. You're probably gonna get in a relationship. If you are not ready, it doesn't matter how awesome someone is. You're not going to be ready to be in a relationship. Like it just being broken up with and all of those things. Like that has nothing. It's not you. It has nothing to reflect it on your self-worth. When somebody else can't be in a relationship, like you can't change that because that's nothing that you've done and nothing that you can control.
Yeah. And I think like also I speak from personal experience, like as a woman, I feel like a sense of wanting to be the special one or the one to fix someone's thing, or like, ooh, I'm the one that breaks the mold. I'm like the special one. And maybe that's a little arrogance on my part, but I think it's also like
movies.
Yeah. Also fucking media,
Everything.
bitch.
Yeah.
Okay, tells you that you need to be the person to like change someone's ways. Like, come on, Twilight.
Yeah.
Get out of here, filling all our heads with nonsense and
vampires.
marble skin and breaking headboards and leave me alone. So breaking the mold, breaking the bed. You will always feel that way if there's like a pattern that you're trying to break, but that is a pattern for a reason. Like, it's not your pattern to break. It's like his pattern to break, if that makes sense. Like, you are a factor, obviously, but like, it's not going to happen, like you said, if it's not supposed to happen. Like, I don't know. Que sera, sera.
Yeah, like you were in the crossfire of a guy who's done this countless times. Like, if anything, like, I think like this is definitely something to like bring up to your therapist. And my therapist said some really great thing where she says, she said to me, if it's hysterical, it's historical. So if you get hysterical about something and it like really brings something up in you, that's because this has happened before.
That's really interesting.
That is very
I love that. What a great therapist. I know. Wait, sorry, what's her name?
I know, she's amazing. No, but so that like that's like when something comes up and like I would get so upset about something. She's like, I'm going to tell you right now that this you getting this upset, you've skipped like 10 levels because you've already gone through all of those to get here. And this is something that's happened before, and that's why you're like, it's historical and you're hysterical. And I think that you're right of saying this is tapping into like your issues of self-worth and stuff, because if anything, this should be something that doesn't make you question it, because this is a guy who's done this before.
This is like easy mode of
everything's
figuring
laid
out
for you, being like, oh no. So logically, like, you shouldn't feel like that, but it's because, and you're even addressing, like, it's because you have these prior feelings of that. And I think more importantly than like being enough for a guy or whatever, like, you need to focus and work on that aspect of yourself, because you're making something that was so obviously laid out about him, about you. And that's the same thing of being like, he clearly, like, if he was not ready to date, he's not ready to date. But also maybe you're not ready to date right now.
You might be self-sabotaging just so you don't have to come to terms with the fact that you don't necessarily
100%.
want to be in like a long-term relationship either, like that. Like, I don't know. I feel like almost like maybe if you guys had continued dating, you would have been the one to be like, I don't
and you even said you hate your job, and you told him like, oh, I'm also really serious about my job. Like, these are the things of being like, I always would go out of my way to date people that I'm like, oh, this is terrible for me. I wouldn't even consciously do it, but I was like, oh, I'm going to date someone who like is going to break my heart, like continue on this terrible cycle. I dated a lot of drug dealers back to back, being like, well, it's all going to end the same. Like, they're like, this is a common denominator that I'm picking.
Drug dealers? Like, do you just, is there like a hotline you can call to date specifically?
Drugs with a Z.
Ooh.
She follows the weed map.
I do.
Goes.
She just smells a little bit of weed and just kind of like goes in that
I see
direction.
white powder everywhere. And I'm like, where is he? Yeah, literally leading to a pot of gold, a douchebag. So I think there is a sense of I don't believe, and I like went off on this on Twitter or on Instagram the other day. I don't believe in like, in order to like, if you want to love somebody else, you need to love yourself. Like, I don't believe in that shit at all. I think that's like very toxic. Yeah. But you need to be able to, you need to have a good picker, and you need to be able to like see this. And I'm not saying that like, oh, you're like, you've been like, you walked into all these situations where all this bad shit happens, but subconsciously, sometimes we do feel like we're like self-sabotaging and punishing ourselves. And if you have had issues and struggles with self-worth, my God, how fun is it? Like, great time.
What a unique feeling that no one else feels.
Exactly. Like, it's terrible. And so then sometimes sometimes you then seek out those things that kind of validate that side of you, because like, it's a very terrible thing to think about yourself. But if you can bring someone else in it, then it's a self-harming kind of thing. Yeah. So I think bringing that up to your therapist and asking your therapist, being like, do you think I should be dating right now? Like, do you think that this is something, and explaining all of that. And I think it might be a good time for you to kind of like take a step away. And then also, if you feel like you have a bad picker, we've said this before too, talk to your friends about it. Yeah. Be like, hey,
but her friends set him up.
But like, if she said something to her friends about being like, let's say not the friend who's involved, like a different friend, of being like, so he says he's like really into work and all of that stuff. Like, be super honest with me. Like, do you think that that's just an out? Right. And say that stuff, because if you feel like you're adapting for what somebody else wants.
Yeah.
Like you need other people to remind you, no, that's not who you are.
Yeah.
Like you aren't cool with that.
No.
I know right now it feels like you're cool with it, but you wouldn't be. And so I think that's a good thing to do. And then also you could just call the podcast every time you're trying to be like, should I be
come on in?
Yeah.
Also, like I this is like sort of a tangent about the work thing, but like if you are really dissatisfied in your work and maybe you're kind of distracting yourself with this like other worry, maybe you should like refocus and think more about what you want to do. I don't know. Obviously, like everyone gets stuck sometimes in a job that they don't want to do, and we're just there, aren't we? So that happens. But maybe instead of putting all this energy into this relationship that is, not really a relationship anymore, you could kind of focus on yourself and your work. And I know that's like the classic, like, just focus on you, girl. But it is true to a certain extent. If you're really miserable in your job, like, try to make strides to do something else. And then that'll give you such like I know I wasn't like ready to actually date someone until I had my own shit together. And like, you
weren't looking for like a distraction.
Yeah. And I was at my point where I was like, I would be a brilliant sugar mama. Like I would be a great sugar mama. And that's when I knew like I wasn't going to be relying on someone for something else. Like I have everything that I need, and not necessarily that I love myself so deeply. Like when I first met Will, I was not a confident person. Like it's not like that. I agree with you. I think that is a toxic way to think. Sorry, RuPaul. Yeah. But but yeah, no, I agree with you. I think maybe try working on your job for a little bit. Yeah. I've realized like the times like, because I have to do long distance. My boyfriend's in London, so I have to do like 3 weeks by myself every like couple months. And those are the times when I'm the most miserable because I have to be by myself and I have to like come to terms with myself. But also by the end of those 3 weeks, I'm almost like I always miss Will and I always want him back. But then part of me is kind of sad that I don't get to be by myself anymore. Because I really, and then I get to be like my own best friend again, which is like something that I don't get to do very often. And I don't get to like tune into what my actual head is hearing all the time. So like, I don't know, appreciate that too, because it's once you're in a relationship, sometimes it's hard to separate yourself. So yeah, just like enjoy your own shit too. Yeah.
We have one more.
Hi, Meghan, Melissa, and potential guests. I am 25 years old and I live in Australia. I recently found out that my dad is cheating on my mum again with masseuses. This is the second time he's cheated. The first time was an emotional relationship with a lady, and I guess this time is a little bit better because it's with masseuses, like sexual masseuses. I don't know what to do. I live with my parents as I'm going away to Europe for a few years next month. I don't know if I should tell my mum or if I shouldn't, because I'm about to leave and I don't want to leave her to deal with this whole thing by herself. Because the last time my dad cheated, it broke her, and I was there for it, which was fine, but I just can't leave her broken. It's especially difficult for me because I live with my parents, just like for a few months before I'm going away. And it's hard to want to kill your own parent, figuratively, of course. And I just don't know what to do. I'm so moody and I'm a total bitch to live with, simply because I can't stand hearing my dad's voice or seeing my dad, because I know what he's doing. I'm the only one who knows, and it's killing me inside, and also like, what do I do?
I want to hug this. I want to fly this person out to LA and we'll just hug them for 6 hours.
Or we can go to, I like Australia.
Yeah, I've never been. I'd go down under.
Let's go down under.
I'm down.
I have such a strong feeling that I want to hear yours first.
Okay. I want you to have those strong feelings.
No.
I'll just say what I said before, which is I hate when kids have to, like, kids should never have to get in the middle of shit like this. You should never have known this. And that's what bugs me more than anything, is that, like, I was about to say sorry to your dad, but not sorry to your dad. He's a shithead.
Don't know.
Okay, well,
but it seems like it.
I'm so sad. So sad that he involved you in this and made it your secret. Like, if it is that, I mean, did she find out randomly, or did he tell her? Do we know?
I'm assuming she found out.
Yeah.
Not from him. I'm assuming like there were signs again because it had happened before, and I'm assuming she like looked through his phone or something.
Parents literally just like are here to fuck us up, aren't they? Like it's so sad because like there's so many layers to this that I'm like, your dad should never have like involved you in this. Even if it's like he left something out and you saw something, like he should
lie better. It's always the thing. If you're gonna lie better.
Okay, but clearly he's so shameless because he's done it before that he just doesn't give a shit. In which case, like, fucking gross. Also, B, you shouldn't have to be your mom's like shoulder to cry on. And I know that's like, yes, you want to support your mom, but you do not have. You are a child. Like that is such a hard relationship to then like mess up or distort by suddenly being a parent figure to your parent. Like, I hate that has to be a thing for you, because then you're feeling this like, no, I have to be with my mom because last time this happened, I had to comfort her. And like, I know from personal experience, because I have people in my personal life that do that kind of stuff. And it is the most toxic thing when your parent becomes your boyfriend or girlfriend or wife or husband. Like, that dynamic is not healthy. You then have no parental figure anymore. You like, and at some point in your life, you will realize that your parents are just humans, but you don't want to get to that point when they're getting cheated on by someone else. Like, that is so beyond your sphere of needing to know, and like it just makes me sad that you're even involved in all of this and that they can't just like work it out like adults. But I don't know. Okay.
Do you think she should tell her?
Do I think she should tell her? I don't. I think that she should confront. I think that she should say that to her dad.
Yeah.
I think she should tell her dad, like, I'm not doing this, and you two can work this out. I'm not doing this.
I think that she should tell her dad. If you don't tell her, I'm going to.
Ooh, I like that.
Because she needs to know. And that's the thing that like, I think if you have been cheated on, you should know. I think you should know, because I've said this to like my friends who have been cheated on or who have cheated on their partners, of being like, if you don't tell that person, you're not giving that person the choice to be with you despite you having been unfaithful. Yeah. They can still want to be with you if you've been unfaithful, but if you don't tell them, you're taking away that choice, and they might not. And the reason why you're not telling them is because you're not sure if they're going to still want to stick through that. Yeah. And that's like it's
selfish.
Yeah.
To like the nth
she
degree.
needs to do that. And I think also, it sounds like you really fucking hate your dad, which is totally legitimate.
Understandable.
And I think having a conversation with your mom, I don't know the first time how it went around because you were younger. If your mom felt like, oh yes, you hate your dad, but he's still your dad. I think really when you talk to your mom about it, be like, give her, she doesn't need your permission to like leave the situation, but give her that permission.
Yeah.
Like,
just so she doesn't feel like, because that's the thing. Parents
you feel like they need to
you're-
hold it together. And even though you're mad, it's still your dad, of being like, mom,
keep it together
he's
for the
a
kids.
shit.
Yeah.
Like, he's not being a great dad. Like, you're saying that you don't want me, like, you still want me to have this father figure, but like,
he doesn't deserve to be a father figure.
He's not doing that right now. And if he wants to do that later, that's fine, but not at the expense of like her being upset and hurt.
Yep.
And so I think exactly like you said, it's not your responsibility for your mom. And I also have friends who've been in that situation, and also
makes me so sad. The kid, like, it doesn't shock me because human beings are all flawed and horrible.
Yeah.
But like, it just makes me sad because I could just never imagine putting that pressure on my children.
No, and it's insane. I like talk about how much better of a parent I'm gonna be. I'm like, I'm gonna be a fucking sick ass parent because I'm already like, I don't have to do all this shit. But like, there's something as an only child that like your parents clue you that you're a pawn. You're really used as like
that makes me so sad.
Oh, it's very sad. Have more than one fucking kid. Yeah. Everybody have more than one kid. But yeah, you get used in that aspect. And so I think what you really need to do is you need to tell your dad straight up, like, you need to tell mom, and this is what I would do. And I'm a savage. I'd be like, we are going to walk in there right now, and you are going to tell her, and I'm going to stand right here to make sure you do not fucking lie.
Love it.
I'm going to make sure you don't twist it. And I am going to sit here with you, and we're going to talk about what's going to happen. We're going to talk about, mom's going to talk, we're going to talk about this, because if your parents have a toxic relationship, and if your father's manipulative, or your mom is quick to justify his actions or something, you're able to be there to be able to they've already fucking included you in this relationship, which they shouldn't have. But I think when you're at this point now, I think also for your own sanity, to be able to know that everything that you know he is going to tell her and that you can hold him accountable for that. And your mom isn't going to be like, oh, well, maybe she was exaggerating. Anything that they might be able to find a loophole in this, you're able to like let it all out there. And then you're also able to have a conversation with them about like, this is how, as your kid, this is how I feel. And this is what I think you should. And so much, I can promise you so much of their relationship is also because they are your parents and they have a kid. And you can be like, hello, I'm older now. Like, let me tell you how I feel. And
let me take
I'm
the
okay
pressure
with.
off. You guys are horrible anyways. So like, I'm out. Like,
And
it's cool.
It's a very hard conversation to have. And I think like if you can do that with them, I think I just think it's going to be able to clear your conscience of it as well. And I think also maybe part of the reason your mom did feel very upset the first time is maybe she didn't even really, maybe there was a part of her that didn't want to stay around, but she felt like, well, no, I want to keep the family together. So that sadness that you're afraid of her reaching that now, she might not.
Oh yeah. That is such, I would say that's probably one of the number one reasons why people stay together in like a marriage when there's been cheating is because of like wanting to keep a healthy relationship with your kids. But what you don't realize is that actually is the antithesis of keeping a healthy relationship. Because the moment you like prioritize your child in that moment, you're also in a weird way blaming that child for having to stay with this person. So there's like 10 different layers of reasons why you shouldn't stay with that person. So I think I agree with you now that you've said that. I do agree. It would be great if they could like talk it out. I just like, I wish this poor girl did not have to be the adult in this situation. Like it makes me sad when I see kids having to parent. Like,
it sucks. And it makes me think she's an only child, or at least grew up as an only child. Like didn't grow up with like siblings in the house. Yeah. But it sucks that you kind of have to handhold these people through it. Yeah. And you shouldn't have to. But exactly like you said too, with your mom and stuff. Like if your mom's very like upset and emotional about all this stuff, you can be there for her and support her, but like you don't need to be like her backbone in all of this. And that's also how she's gonna heal. Is like when she isn't able to like
rely on you. I mean, even like, I know it sounds a little bit like patronizing, but even like recommending a therapist or something to your mom in that situation, because she is going to be very broken, and I get that, and you don't want to just dump her out on this like on the streets out of nowhere like emotionally, but like trying to find an alternative for her that maybe also like generations past don't totally click on to the therapy thing right away. Whereas our generation is very like, oh shit, I'm going through something, I'm gonna go talk to someone about it, which is a great thing to have as like a tool, but I think also you have to kind of reintroduce that idea to an older audience. So I would highly recommend trying to get your mom interested in that, because she might not even think about that. Totally. You know what I mean? And maybe it is couples therapy even. Yeah. Because also like if she does still want to keep, you know, your dad in the circle, like at the very least, they should be going to couples therapy. And at the very least.
Yeah. And the last time when he was cheated, it was emotional, and this time it's physical. So that also might be
in the case of this is escalating. If we talk about like murder, it's escalating.
So this might be a different deal breaker for her.
Listen to my favorite murder
so much every day. That's what I think it is too. I think like you have to give her all of the like. You don't know what decision she's going to make, but
facts are facts, America.
Yeah, the only way that she's going to be able to make a decision is if she knows. And don't think about it in the sense of being like, oh, this is going to hurt my mom. It's going to be like, oh, this is going to make my mom have to make a decision. Yeah. And it's a decision that she should be able to make. Yeah. And he already made that decision. Yep. And right now he's making the decision for them that they're going to still stay together. But now it's her turn. Like, no, she gets a say in that too. And that's what you get to think of. That's what you get to give your mom, a say in it.
I like the way that you put that. That makes me happier, because I think in my head I'm just like, my like emotionally repressed self is like, just run away, buy a plane ticket and get out of there.
Go to college.
Or something. Yeah. I don't know. Go play some tennis.
And also if your mom finds out later that you knew, that could be
so fucking mad at you.
That's very detrimental. Suck. Yeah, that's gonna suck for your relationship.
And also, it's good that just knowing it and being the only one who knows is eating you. It's gonna fucking eat you alive. So you got to get that out there, get it all out in the open, and then let the adults make their own fucking decisions. Yeah. But like,
they are adults.
Relinquish that, and give your mom the opportunity to make a decision too. Yeah, so we'll see. But I'm sorry. It fucking sucks.
Yeah, so sorry.
So
I
sucky.
wish that I could take that on for you because that sounds so horrible.
I mean, I don't wish that.
You're like, you keep this for yourself.
No, I don't. I wish you didn't have it either. But I
wish
want
it didn't exist in general.
Yeah, I wish we could just like take it and just like throw it away for everybody.
Ew.
Gross. Get away. Well, I'm sorry.
Gross.
But hopefully it'll work. I mean, it will work out.
It will work out eventually.
Yeah. Okay, is it time for listeners' advice? Don't blame them.
Exactly.
Ayo. So, Arden, I'm telling you this. No, don't worry. This isn't like a test. This is when don't fail.
You look very shocked.
She does. Like, what do I have to do? So this is when listeners call in and give their own advice on previous episodes.
Oh, I love this. Am I gonna have any way to know?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. You're like,
I'm like, wow. I want there to be a really obscure advice that I'm like, I want to know what
if we
podcast
did play
episode.
this.
Shut up. That'd be so
Okay,
funny.
so this is from the episode with Nikki Limo. The original caller, this is the one that found out that her ex had murdered someone.
What?
And then she was trying to reconnect with them.
Wait, I'm sorry. Do we have someone who's been in a similar
Not
situation?
similar situation, but she's calling to give her own advice because she has a psychological explanation for why this would happen.
Hi, Megan. I'm 23 years old, and I was a forensic psych student. So basically, I studied like why people commit crimes and why people are attracted to certain things, and so forth and so forth. So this is regarding the whole girl that kind of wants to get back involved with her ex-boyfriend's life, who he accidentally, in quotations, murdered somebody because one, murder, you need intent. So there is a psychological term called hybristophilia, which is like people get attracted to people who commit crime. They don't know why it happens. It's mainly because of an adrenaline thing they psychologically believed. And another thing is just because somebody's Christian or Catholic does not mean they're a good person. Case in fact with this guy. Another thing is like I was in a very abusive relationship with a guy who we shared the same religious beliefs, and he used our religion against me in high school. Basically said it was okay to hit me and degrade me and belittle me because that's what the Bible said. I think this girl needs to do some actual consideration and like deep inward thought of like, well, why maybe go see a psychologist? Find out like what's the root of the problem. Also take into consideration, just because some dude your same religion doesn't mean he's a good guy. There's plenty of shitty Christians out there. Choose somebody because of the same moral views rather than the same religious views. Because I'm sure there's a great guy out there for you that's not your religion.
Yep.
Okay, bye.
Yeah, bye. I love this. Can she come on the podcast?
Yeah, I know. Wow. I want to hear about her. Like all the study.
Yeah,
all
she's
that shit.
sick. I love her.
So cool.
Yeah.
I wanted to do that in college. And then I was like, well, that'd be my backup plan. And I was like, so I'm just going to fucking drop out.
So you're like, that's a lot of hours.
It's a lot. I didn't take any of the prereqs.
It's a lot of hours. And I would probably have to like dissect a cadaver. I'm not into that.
Ooh, fuck that.
Not into that.
No.
Can't come to terms with my own death. Anyways, yeah. I mean, I've heard of that whole like there's like pages of people who love like, and this is disgusting, but like the Columbine shooters, like they're like,
yeah, or like Marilyn Manson, like people like write letters to them in prison, being like, sending you naked pictures, all that stuff. Yeah,
it's like it's such a weird thing, but it's like it's so well documented that it doesn't surprise me that you see it in like a very average case as well.
Totally,
not even it's not average. Someone got fucking murdered, but like I'm just saying, like on your average manslaughter murder charge, like there can still be that thing. And also the other thing is like sociopaths or people who are capable of, and I'm not saying all sociopaths are capable of murder, but people who are capable of murder are also probably a little detached from like reality or emotions. So they can be very manipulative.
Yeah.
Like it's very easy for you to
very
like,
charming.
Yes. Very
they
charming.
become who you want them to be.
Yeah. That's how Ted Bundy like killed everyone is he would just like knock on the door and be like, hey there, I'm just
and he has hot.
Yeah, hot.
Yeah. I mean, mostly Zac Efron's hot, and real Ted Bundy just looks like Ted Bundy.
He just looks
You know
like
what I mean?
average dude.
Yeah,
Well, he also
is Zac Efron playing Ted Bundy in something?
I auditioned for that. Not for Ted Bundy.
Whoa.
I auditioned for a
Be
different
like,
character.
Ted Bundy's really pretty.
You could be like,
So cute.
ooh, there was a female serial killer,
Yeah,
like
Terry Bundy.
Tedera. Yeah, there you go.
So bad.
I see you smoking a cigarette and then murdering people, or murdering people with like blood on your hands and then like cigarette smoking afterwards. Cute. But no, yeah. I mean, I've heard of that as being kind of a fetish. But like, I love her just laying down the law,
Dude,
Yeah.
same.
like just like no.
Yeah, and this was something that I think was like we get like very evenly split on people on sides for most calls. This one was so funny because like everybody was like, nah,
Something's wrong with that girl.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
it's also like one of those things where I'm like, God, this is an issue, like an issue that's like you're gonna put yourself in, and that's what I think of. I'm like, sure, and my like I can be the judgmental part, but then the other fear of me is I'm like, you are gonna put yourself in such dangerous situations and you don't realize that this is an issue with you. And this isn't like an exception to like, oh, I would never be into this. I'm like, no matter who it was. And like, I think Nikki and I even said, I think Nikki said like, if her husband killed somebody, she'd, I'm fucking leave him immediately. And I was like, the same thing. Like if you don't have that kind of threshold there, like there's it's something, and like, there's nothing like mental illness, any sort of issues like that. No judgment of it, but you need to understand and learn that because you're going to put yourself in terribly shitty and very dangerous situations.
Also, like random note to add to this, but on the religious note, just know that there are a lot of people who are psychopaths in religion for a reason, because you can use something like the Bible to justify your bad actions, because don't know if you know this, but like every religious text is up to everyone's interpretation. So you can interpret it literally to say, I think today God told me to beat my wife.
Right.
And
They
like,
used
that's
it to
not a
justify
thing.
slavery.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So like, no, don't ever let that be a thing. I've seen, like, I was raised in a Christian home, and I can't tell you how many people were in the church that were mooching off the big old boy upstairs the entire time.
I always think too, in the sense of like, as somebody who didn't grow up religious and isn't religious, like I think about it in the sense of like, okay, let's take a room full of Christian guys. Some of them, let's call it, they're like just universally super ugly. And some of them are really shitty people. You are going to go for the ones that are shitty people because they're a good Christian guy. But what if the ugly guy? He's a good Christian guy. Like, that's the part that drives me fucking crazy. I'm like, no. It's not about the religion. It's not about the religion. It's also a vanity aspect of this. Whereas like, if he looked any different or anything like that, like you wouldn't use but he's a good Christian guy to justify somebody's looks. You're going to use it to justify someone's morals, which have everything to do with your religion and nothing to do with your looks. Like, oh my God. Like you're like, it's insane to me.
I agree.
Insane.
I agree.
And also, bad Christian man.
Bad Christian man. Bad Christian man.
Oh, I'm not Christian, and I know that's not what you're supposed to do. It's not. I've never read the Bible, but I'm pretty sure that's not in
You're
there.
not supposed to do it for any religion, or just like as a human being. Like,
right? My moral code is like, don't shoot someone in the back.
Yeah, should I do that to
Put
them?
him in the car.
Put him in the car.
Yeah, then set it on fire.
Dispose of the car.
Yeah, or whatever they did.
We don't
know.
know. It's just
It's very you of him. Have you seen that show?
I don't
on
want to talk about
Netflix?
that show.
No, it's so horrifying. It's so
Well,
horrifying.
it's also the glamorizing of that too, of like, he's a stalker, but he's hot.
It's like,
yeah. Oh God. Well, that's a good one to end on. I'm glad you got to be here for that. You got to listen to that.
I'm so glad that I'm here for that. I've never heard of that situation happening in real life.
No, neither had we. We're learning a lot about people on the podcast from the podcast.
You might turn into a murder podcast.
Right. I mean, maybe. I would just be so afraid because they also, like a lot of people, when they do some fucked up shit, which we don't air these ones, but they'll be like, Meghan, I feel like you'd really understand. And they say something fucking insane. I'm like, fuck you, dude. Why would I understand?
Why would I get this?
I'm not like, what am I giving off that's like, oh, well, Meghan, you're very sex positive and free the nipple. I thought you'd be cool with murder. And I'm like, unrelated.
Free the nipple, sex positive, murder?
Like, I don't understand. I am not chill with you doing this or being like a mistress. I'm like, I'm not cool with that.
No.
I can't.
No.
Anyways, that's it for our episode. Arden, thanks for being on.
Thank you for having me.
Oh my God, so fun. Promo yourself. Tell people where they can find you on the internet.
Oh my God. Well, my name's Arden. So just like it's
Literally just type in Arden.
Yeah, real honestly, it's like no one else has my name other than Arden Cho.
I know her.
Yeah, she's gorgeous and
Yeah,
wonderful.
she is.
Yeah. Oh, she was in
the movie.
yeah,
She's very pretty.
Oh,
You're pretty too.
Oh, thanks.
It's like a thing. You have to be pretty for your name's Arden.
I'm like the second best Arden. Let's be real.
Next to the tree.
What about Elizabeth Arden?
Yeah, you know what? No, their skincare isn't that good. But sponsor me. No, but yeah, you can find me on Instagram, Arden Rose, Twitter, Arden Rose, YouTube, Arden Rose. Let's see, I just reviewed James Blake's new album on my.
I'm very excited to watch that.
On my YouTube and pretty much cried drunk the entire time. So that
Love
was
it.
good. And then also I have a book called Almost Adulting that's out. So you can go check that out.
If you guys want to follow the podcast on Instagram, we're at Don't Blame Meme Pod. And if you want to call in for a future episode, you can leave us a voicemail at 310-694-0976. And international callers, leave us an audio message at meghanpodcast@gmail.com. Record it on your phone and then send it to us. Don't just like, I don't know if you need me to explain how to leave one. Also,
Speaking of, we've been having a lot of people write into our email address.
oh, that's not how it works,
you
guys.
gotta call, guys.
You gotta call. We don't read your emails here.
Oh, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, I see them and I just
Yeah, they don't.
Go
They don't
away.
get seen.
They get the shaft.
Yeah. And also a lot of people who say that like, oh, my friends are going to hear and know my voice. I don't.
No.
I have called into this show
I was gonna say.
as when we used to do like jokey things, and Meghan didn't even realize it was my
Had no
voice.
clue.
You can change your voice.
People sound so different over the phone.
Yeah, totally. And your friends are never going to think like, oh, this is cool about me or anything like that.
Yeah.
So
no. Mm-mm.
yeah. Yeah, guys. That's it.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye.
Whatever struggles you're facing, from depression and anxiety to trauma and grief, BetterHelp can connect you with a professional counselor in a safe and private online environment. It's so convenient. You can schedule secure video sessions or phone sessions, as well as chat and text with your therapist. And anything you share is completely confidential. Best of all, it's a truly affordable option. Don't Blame Me with Meghan Rienks listeners even get 10% off your first month with the discount code BLAME. So why not get started? Simply go to betterhelp.com/blame and fill out a questionnaire to get matched with a counselor you'll love today. Don't Blame Me is a production by me. Executive produced by Melissa DeMonts. Camera operator Amanda Lechner. Production assistance by Julie Carley. And music by Ryan Hunter and Giacomo Picasso, part of the HerPod Network.